Welcome to the Betting Pros Podcast. I'm Pat Fitzmaurice. That's Bo McBrayer. And the PGA Tour was off last week, taking a 1-week hiatus to make way for the Olympic golf competition. But now it's a sprint to the finish line. There are only 4 events left in the season and just 1 event before the FedEx Cup playoffs. Today, we will give you a full betting preview of that event, the pre-playoff event, the Wyndham Championship in Greensboro, North Carolina. We'll also do a quick recap of the aforementioned Olympic golf competition, which was extremely entertaining. And we will give you our one and done picks for the week. The Betting Pros PGA podcast is sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog is the place to go for best ball fantasy football contests, but you might not have known that Underdog has golf contests too. Visit underdogfantasy.com or find Underdog in the App Store. And don't forget to register with the promo code BPGolf to claim your special pick and to get a first-time deposit offer of up to $250 in bonus cash. More on Underdog and its golf contest a bit later. It's been an amazing year for Scottie Scheffler. The number 1 player in the world has won a lot of hardware this season, a green jacket, a tartan jacket, a bunch of trophies. And now Scottie can add a gold medal to all of that other swag. Scottie lurked behind the leaders for 3 rounds and then fully engaged the thrusters on Sunday. Scheffler fired a final round 62 to seize the gold. He began his Sunday with 3 straight birdies. Then after 6 straight pars to close out the front 9, went nuclear on the back 9, shot a 6 under par 29. Scheffler just had everything working on Sunday. Driver, approach game, putter. When Scottie is locked in, as he was on Sunday, there's just no one else better. A sight to behold. Chef's kiss, exactly. So Scottie finishes minus 19, takes the gold, brings it home for the USA. Got a little emotional afterward, which was nice to see. It's cool that the Olympic competition is obviously much more than just an exhibition for these guys, even though there's no prize money involved. England's Tommy Fleetwood finished 1 shot back at minus 18, shot a final round 66 and made 8 birdies on the round, but he also carded 3 bogeys, including a costly one on the 17th hole where he messed up a chip. But to Fleetwood's credit, he then got up and down very nicely from off the 18th green, made a nervy 6-footer to clinch the silver medal. Hideki Matsuyama of Japan won the bronze. He finished minus 17, 2 shots behind Scheffler, 1 behind Fleetwood. Hideki grabbed a first-round lead with a 63, treaded water for 2 days, and then closed with a nice 65. Frenchman Victor Perez, someone you touted on last week's show, Bo, just missed out on a medal. Perez thrilled his fellow Frenchman with a final day 63 that almost got him to the podium, but not quite. And it was heartbreak for a couple of top players who finished at minus 15, just a couple of shots out of medal position. Jon Rahm was terrific for 3.5 rounds. He birdied 6 of his first 10 holes on Sunday, stepped to the 11th tee with a 4-shot lead, and then it all fell apart. Rahm bogeyed 11 and 12, then had a nightmare double bogey on the par 5 14th, had a bad drive, had a chip roll back to his feet. Rahm played the last 8 holes at 5 over par. I feel bad for Rahm. I mean, he's a proud Spaniard. An Olympic medal obviously would have meant a lot to him, especially in a year where he's experienced disappointment in the majors. Here's hoping that poor finish doesn't haunt him. Rory McIlroy also minus 15. He too was in medal contention late in Sunday's round, but he rinsed his approach shot on the par 4 15th, going aggressively at a flag right in front of the green, just over a water hazard. Came away with a double bogey that pretty much cost him a medal. Bo, any thoughts on the Olympic golf competition and Scottie Scheffler's epic season?
I mean, if you listened to the show last week, we touted him. I was very aggressive betting Scottie Scheffler this week at the Olympics. I thought he should have gotten off to a better start, but his putting was what held him back the first 3 days from going really low. And like Pat said, back 9 Sunday, nuclear. Absolutely made everything. We're talking, if Scottie has a flat putting performance, he's going to win. And as we know, if Scottie gets a hot putter, he wins by a lot. And that's what happened on Sunday on the back 9. Rahm completely fell apart. I don't feel bad for Jon Rahm because all he's done this season is whine. Win, lose, draw. Jon Rahm is going to whine and complain about every little thing. I have no sympathy for him. Zero. Scotty Scheffler has had class in winning, class in falling short. Remember when he lost to Steven Yeager? He had a 3-footer to force a playoff, and he's nuking Yeager in a playoff at the Valero Texas Open. He didn't make any qualms about it. He didn't blame anybody, didn't throw a fit. All he said was, let's get back into gear. And what did he win? 5 of the next 6? I think Scotty Scheffler is the ultimate gold medal champion for Team USA. I was very happy to bet him aggressively, and also very happy to sleep in on Sunday. And on the West Coast, he had already finished up his gold medal win by the time I got out of bed. I looked at my phone. It, of course, had blown up with people thanking me for telling them to bet Scotty aggressively, like they needed me to tell them to do that. The guy is just awesome. And for Victor Perez, top Frenchman, just missed out on a plus 2,200 payout for top European, thanks to Tommy Fleetwood, who, again, has never won anything. I mean, I guess you give him a medal. That's a good win for Tommy Fleetwood, a silver medal. Congrats to him. I feel the worst about Tom Kim, who missed out on a waiver for his mandatory military service in South Korea by 2 shots. He was in contention to medal here, and it would have helped him not have to report for duty by age 35. So
yeah,
he's still got a couple chances, but that would have been nice for Tom Kim, because Sungjae Im did that last 2 years ago at the Asian Games, where he finished strong and was able to escape mandatory military service in South Korea.
Yeah, hopefully Tom Kim can yet fend that off. Still a young man, he can do it, but man, talk about a nice bonus and what that would have meant for him. Scotty's year is just so incredible. I mean, how nice a topper would a FedEx Cup playoff championship be?
Yeah,
Be interesting.
He's not done yet, Pat. He's not done yet.
He's not. Oh, there are a couple $20 million purses left ahead.
Yes.
There's the grand prize of the FedEx Cup Championship.
Mm-hmm.
But Xander Schauffele, who fell off on Sunday, didn't have the round he wanted to after competing. Xander might have something to say about that, because he's had quite a nice year himself. Oh, and by the way, when I was rattling off the swag that Scotty has accumulated this year, I forgot a new baby. First child and starting a family. So it's been a pretty good year for Scotty Scheffler, I would say.
I mean, the bank account's looking great for the Scheffler family. I think Meredith doesn't even have expensive tastes, so they're probably just saving it all for all their future kids. Bennett's going to be the oldest child. I think that family's set up pretty well going forward. But Scotty Scheffler getting emotional on the podium. I did too, and I watched the replay, because I mean, that dude just wanted it. He wanted it. He came down the stretch on Sunday, and I mean, the dude is just a winner. He's just a winner
In ice, and man.
You love to see it. You love to see a guy who just buckles down, and his ability to buckle down and take that next step to just put the foot on the gas and win something. It's a sight to behold. 7 wins this year.
And I don't want to get too hyperbolic here, Bo, but like what Scotty is doing rivals some of Tiger Woods' best seasons, I think.
Yeah, if he can put it together for another 6 or 7 years, then we're talking Tiger territory. But in the snapshot, absolutely.
Yeah, for this year. And like, I don't want to hear anyone say that, it's diminished at all by not having the Live Tour play. Who on the Live Tour is taking food off Scotty's plate this season? Like no one has had the kind of seat. Like Brooks isn't having a great year. Rahm isn't having a great year. Like who is taking
we
wins
love Bryson
away?
too, but I mean, you just can't take anything away from Scotty because he's beating who's in front of him. And it's like, maybe something changes in the next year or two where they're merged again. But at this moment in time, he can only beat who he can play against, and he's beaten them.
Yes, he is. And we'll get to the Wyndham Championship in just a minute. But first, our friends at Underdog Fantasy are letting you make picks on your favorite golfers all season long. Just pick higher or lower on selected stats for 2 to 5 golfers, and you can win up to 20 times your money in a single day. You can also make rivals picks where you choose, for instance, which of 2 golfers will shoot a better score for a round. Golf picks can be combined with stats from other sports too. Go sign up at Underdog Fantasy with the promo code BP Golf to claim your special pick and to get a first-time deposit offer of up to $250 in bonus cash. As noted earlier, the Wyndham Championship is the final event on the PGA Tour calendar before the 3-week FedEx Cup playoff. In past years, 125 players qualified for the FedEx Cup playoffs. This year, only 70 players qualify. So this is obviously a critical week for everyone on that playoff bubble. And it's also the reason why Scotty Scheffler won't be here. He is safely in the field for the playoff. The Wyndham Championship will once again be played at Sedgefield Country Club, a Donald Ross course in Greensboro, North Carolina. It's a par 70 measuring 7,131 yards, a shorter than average PGA Tour course with a lot of short par fours. In fact, 9 of the par fours measure 442 yards or shorter, including all 6 par fours on the front 9. So wedge play is going to be critical this week. Only 2 par 5s at Sedgefield, and they are both shorties, checking in at under 550 yards. Very reachable, so you'd better make hay on those 2 par 5s. There's also an emphasis on putting this week. The undulating Bermuda greens provide a stern test, and players who've shown an aptitude for putting well on Bermuda greens have traditionally fared well at the Wyndham. It's going to be a birdie fest. Lucas Glover, defending champion, he finished 20 under par last year. Tom Kim won in 2022, also 20 under par. Kevin Kisner won in 2021. He was only 15 under and actually had to survive a 6-man playoff. But Jim Herman, 21 under in 2020. JT Poston, 22 under in 2019. Winner's going to be somewhere around 20 under par, it seems.
That seems statistically likely.
Yes, it does. Although weather, Bo, is going to be a factor this week. Hurricane Debbie is meandering its way up the East Coast, and Greensboro is going to be affected. There is rain in the forecast and wind Thursday, Friday, perhaps into Saturday. It's possible we could see some lengthy delays, and it's possible the tournament finishes on Monday. But with the FedEx Cup playoff berths on the line, I would imagine the tour will do everything in its power to get 4 rounds in. But Debbie might have something to say about that. So, Bo, your thoughts on what the players will be facing at Sedgefield Country Club?
So Debbie reminds me of Little Debbie, like snack cakes, which sounds wonderful. And
This
then
Debbie not as fun.
No, this Debbie reminds me of that mean bus driver I had in elementary school named Debbie. Yeah, she's not fun. She's always yelling over her shoulder at people because we were throwing stuff at her. I mean, it was a long time ago. But yeah, it's going to be a distraction for a lot of these players. This is traditionally an event where you just have to be good from tee to green, and then you got to get a hot putter. Like Lucas Glover, one of the worst putters on the PGA Tour, but he was absolutely in fuego last year. 20 under par for him is excellent. But that's a guy who's traditionally great off the tee finding fairways and hits it very close on approach, especially with short to mid irons. This course is going to be target practice. And if you get rain, it's still going to be pretty gettable because of how soft the greens can get. I think that we're going to see even better scoring as long as the wind is reasonable. Like if it's a 2-club wind at this place, it's not the same as a tougher golf course with a 2-course wind. It's not Royal Troon out there. 7,100 yards. It's going to be target practice. As long as these guys can find the fairway, they're going to have a great chance to convert birdie chances. And that's really what I'm looking at again, is these easier courses. It's how many opportunities do you create, and then what percentage of them do you convert?
Yeah, all these short par 4s in the 430 to 440 yard range. These guys can hit 3-woods off the tee. Even if the fairways are rain soaked and aren't rolling at all, they're still going to get enough carry where they're hitting short irons into the green.
I mean, I'm licking my chops. If I was out there playing, that's right in my wheelhouse, Pat. Just think about what these guys are doing when they're consistently hitting these greens and sticking it close and making putts.
Well, with the courses I play, Bo, 440 yard par 4 is a monster. So that's
come on, Pat. That's at sea level, though. That's at sea level. I usually play at a little bit of elevation.
That's true. Good point. If you want a chance to score a signed Amari Cooper jersey for free, courtesy of our friends at pristineauction.com, all you need to do is head to bettingpros.com/contest, complete the form, and either download the Betting Pros app, leave a review for the Betting Pros podcast, or subscribe to our social media channels at Betting Pros on X and TikTok, and at Betting Pros NFL on Instagram. The more actions you complete, the more entries you receive. We'll we'll be announcing a winner right here on the channel. So turn on those notifications so you can be alerted when new episodes are up and to claim your Amari Cooper jersey. Let's look at the odds for the Wyndham Championship. All odds courtesy of DraftKings as of Monday afternoon. A lot of the big dogs taking the week off. So Sungjae Im opens as the favorite at plus 1,400. Shane Lowry is plus 2,200. Siwoo Kim and Billy Horschel plus 2,500. Min Woo Lee, Jordan Spieth, and Cameron Young plus 3,000. Davis Thompson, Brian Harmon, and Akshay Bhatia plus 3,500. Luke Clanton, Cam Davis, and Aaron Rye plus 4,000. And Robert McIntyre, Nicolai Hojgaard, Keegan Bradley, and Christian Bezuidenhout plus 4,500. Which of the favorites do you like, Bo?
I mean, the favorite here is obviously Sungjae Im. It's very similar to 2 weeks ago where we had the 3M Open. Sungjae Im is the class of that field too, and we had high hopes for him. He didn't come through for us. You know why? Because a lot of the same approach distances tripped him up that might trip him up this week. Yes, he's a consistent player. He's the best, most consistent name we've seen in this field. But from 150 to 175 yards, which actually comes into play on 30% of the holes on this golf course, Sungjae Im is 114th in this field. And that's not a strong field to compare to. That's a really important approach bucket. He's not a whole lot better in the other short iron buckets that we're looking at for a very important proximity stat. So I'm going to start my card at Siwoo Kim. Siwoo Kim has had a lot of success at this golf course, and he's top 10 in about 3/4 of the metrics that I ran in my model, including number 2 in that very same approach bucket and number 4 from tee to green overall. This is a Siwoo Kim golf course, and he's at 22-1. I'd much prefer to kind of throw some weight behind him and then sprinkle in a lot of these other guys. And in a weaker field, you can get more of a birdshot approach here. And I think that's the strategy I'm going to take on my card is go behind a guy who I know is going to show up to play well here and see what happens. Because Siwoo Kim he's fun to watch. He's always wearing the flashy garb with the PGA Tour logo or something like BB Go Go Go. You got the ad spot for the Korean dumplings in the freezer aisle. I mean, I can't get enough of those things.
Now, Siwoo has gone 4 straight tournaments without a top 25, but he does have 4 top 5s at the Wyndham, including a win in 2016. So yes, course history. I guess the counter argument for Sungjae Im is that he does seem to have the perfect combination of form and course fit. He's finished top 12 in 6 of his last 7 events, and in 5 tries at the Wyndham, 3 top 10s, and has never finished worse than 24th. So, but as you mentioned, like that approach range, 150 to 175, not his wheelhouse. Really.
I like Sungjae Im at 20 to 25-1, but outright favorite 14-1 Sungjae Im just kind of gives me the heebie-jeebies, so I don't feel great about it.
How do you feel about Billy Horschel? Last time we saw him, he was finishing second at the Open Championship. He's had 4 top 10s at the Wyndham, including a 4th last year. Generally, you think of Billy Horschel as more of a tough course player, not a guy you're looking for at Birdie Fest, but he's done pretty well at this Birdie Fest before.
Well, this Birdie Fest fits his type of style of play. Like, he's an accurate player. He's got a great short game. He's a great putter. And he's been playing really well. I don't know that I like Billy Horschel that much this week, especially with, again, really short odds. I mean, he's coming in like he's the class of this field on the betting cards, and I don't feel comfortable at that line. Yes, he's a good play, but I'm not feeling it as far as putting my money behind somebody to win a tournament. I don't know if he can go low enough here.
Yeah. Now, Shane Lowry, rain and wind Thursday and Friday. Interesting. Although, last time we saw Shane Lowry in the rain, he didn't fare too well Saturday at the Open Championship, but he did pretty well in the rain at Ballybunion back in 2019.
Yes,
or sorry, not Ballybunion. I'm sorry. What was the Irish Open course? Is it?
Oh, now you're gonna
my goodness,
dry me up on my memory here. But in all honesty, Shane Lowry rates out well here, regardless of weather. He's second overall in strokes gained ball striking, third in tee to green stats. His short game's been his downfall, which I don't think comes into play as much here. It's going to be a lot of short approach shots, which obviously Shane Lowry is a great approach player, and he's a great player at avoiding the big number. You're gonna want guys that can avoid 3 putts. That's kind of his weakness that I'm going to be looking at. But as far as getting to the greens and being close to the pin, Shane Lowry is a great pick here. I think I feel more comfortable for his 22-1 line than I do Billy Horschel.
Yeah, Royal Portrush.
That's
How could I
what it
forget
is.
that? Just
And
randomly.
that's the same. It's the same open venue next year.
Yes, I just randomly spat out another famous Irish course, but it was a Royal Portrush.
Did you get your ticket lottery inputted for Royal Portrush next year?
I have not. I need to do that. Some of the other favorites, Cameron Young, 2 top 10s in his last 3 events, but he will be making his debut. And this event, it seems like course history is pretty key, or at least has been traditionally. Aaron Rai had been in really good form until a poor showing at the Open Championship. But before that, 4 top 10s in his last 8 events, dating all the way back to May. Although he hasn't fared well in his first 2 visits to Sedgefield, 71st in 2022 and a missed cut last year. Akshay has missed the cut in all 3 of his previous appearances here. So I think we got to scratch him, unfortunately.
Yeah, he
and
just doesn't get off the tee with accuracy. So it's kind of a big bugaboo for this golf course, is you at least have to be able to find fairways consistently in order to give yourself enough scoring chances. His off the tee accuracy has not been good. And that really kind of kills you on a course like this.
One more name among the favorites to run by you, Bo. Nicolai Hojgaard, 14th in his Wyndham debut last year and coming off a 7th at the Olympics. Any interest?
Yeah. He's in great form. I really like watching him play. He's more of a bomber. Again, off the tee accuracy scares me a little bit with Hojgaard. He's got a great short game, which will save him. I think he's better fit for tougher golf courses that are more maybe fitting to a guy who can bomb and gouge a wedge game through a golf course. You can't really do that here. I'm going to look at Cam Davis at 40-1. Great course fit, great course history, and he's another guy playing great golf right now. 40-1 for Cam Davis with the success he's had at the Wyndham Championship. That's going to be my go-to guy in that range.
I'm probably going to bet Hojgaard, and every time he piques my interest, he has a lousy tournament. So I'm like 0 for lifetime betting on Hojgaard, but I'm going to keep at it.
That just means you're due.
It does mean I'm due. On to the mid-range options. We have Thomas Detry, Maverick McNeely, Jonathan Vegas, and Harris English at plus 5,000. Nick Dunlap, Kurt Kitayama, Justin Rose, and JT Poston at plus 5,500. Will Zalatoris, Ryan Fox, Max Grazerman, Keith Mitchell, and Eric Van Rooyen at plus 6,000. Stephen Yeager and Denny McCarthy at plus 6,500. And at plus 7,000, a big group that includes Webb Simpson, Taylor Moore, Sam Stevens, Michael Thor Bjornsson, and Ben Griffin. And let's throw in the plus 7,500 guys. Victor Perez, coming off that 4th at the Olympics, Doug Gim, and Andrew Novak. What about this group, Bo? Anyone here you like?
Yeah, I'm going to go with 2 guys in this group for sure. Eric Cole at 60-1 is piquing my interest. Great course fit again here. And he's the guy in this range that's actually playing well. I did have some interest in JT Poston until I saw his recent form. Not great. It was actually scary because he came in number 2 in my model for the stats I'm looking at, but you have to, if you're just running stat models and just picking guys straight off of what the stats say, you're not going to have much success because a lot of these guys are stat darlings where they're hitting it close and they might miss a putt and then they might not hit it close and then they recover well and it shows up well in the stats, but then you look at the results and you're like, oh, 3 missed cuts in his last 7 starts. Not great. There's a few of those guys in this field and I just can't do it. Eric Cole is actually playing great golf, and he's number 1 in this field in 3-putt avoidance, number 2 in short game, and actually number 14 on par 4 scoring. That's going to get him around this course really well. It's just something about Eric Cole is just screaming to me that you need to invest in him because he's playing good golf, and this course fits him like a glove. A guy who can get off the tee with accuracy, maybe not all the time, but I think he's playing well enough where it's just everything is just kind of falling into place for him at 60-1. And then our guy Victor Perez, the Frenchman, he's playing great golf right now. 4th at the Olympics. Thanks for the money, Mr. Perez. Monsieur Perez. I really appreciate it. One of 3 guys who cashed bets for me last week at the Olympics, including Scotty and I believe Corey Connors snuck into the top 10 there. But it's been good to bet Victor Perez on placement bets. He's at 75-1 to win this thing outright. I think the way he's playing, he could win this thing. This field is not strong. And even at the very top, you're kind of like, ooh, I guess we like Siwoo Kim. I guess we like Sungjae Im. But how much better are those guys really playing than a guy who just almost medaled at the Olympic Games in a very strong field?
I know. I do have a hang up, Bo, about guys like that, after an emotional week playing in front of his countrymen, giving it a great run at a medal finish, then making the transatlantic flight. That worries me a little bit. I wonder, I know these guys aren't.
He's already stateside. He's warming up on the range in North Carolina right now.
Yeah, and I know he's not sitting in the middle seat and coach.
No.
So, yeah, maybe I'm overplaying that. Since you're looking at guys with flat stick artists like Eric Cole, and at least took a look at JT Poston. What about Denny McCarthy? Great putter. He's had 3 top 25s in this event, although he has missed the cut here in each of his last 2 starts. But does he interest you at all?
The problem with McCarthy is his ball striking. Yes, once he gets to the green and around the green, he's world class, but very bad on approach. Very 146th on approach, not great. I can't do that at this golf course. He's also just not a good ball striker. He's a great short game guy. But man, you just really have to be able to get off the tee here and put the ball close to the pin, or that short game doesn't matter anything but scrambling. And scrambling around this golf course isn't going to even make the cut. Denny at 70 is a nice number. It draws you in like a bug zapper. But yeah, I'm weighting approach game so heavily that he just doesn't quite rise to the occasion when I run the stats. As much as I love Denny, I'm going to have to fade him this week.
I'll quickly mention 3 other names from this group. Thomas Detry finished 9th at the Olympics, 21st in his Wyyndham debut last year. Nick Dunlap, 20-year-old Nick Dunlap, streaky. He's missed the cut in 4 of his last 8 events, but won the Barracuda Championship last month, was 10th at the Rocket Mortgage Classic in Detroit, and he was 12th at the Memorial. So he's played easy course as well, and the Memorial's not an easy course, and he played that one pretty well.
Yeah, Dunlap he's like you said, streaky. He's really strong at finding the fairways. Another guy whose approach game needs a little bit of work. I think he'll do okay here. I just don't know if I want to bet on him to win, or maybe a placement bet, because again, he just gives you indigestion because you don't know if he's going to be top 10 or miss the cut by 8 strokes. It's one or the other with him, and he's young and he's kind of been on a cold streak since he had a really hot start to the season. I don't know if I can do it.
Now, one last one. Let's talk about course fit. Old man Webb Simpson. In his 10 most recent appearances at the Wyyndham, Webb Simpson has 8 top 10s and 6 top 5s. He is on that leaderboard. He just doesn't win here. But man, he knows how to contend at the Wyndham Championship. All right, what about long shots, Bo? Anyone you like at 80-1 odds or longer?
We got to start right there with the Todd father. We're talking about course fit. Brendon Todd's playing this course great over the years. A couple top 10s recently. I like Brendon Todd at 90-1. Very, very accurate ball striker. Gets a hot putter from time to time, and it seems to show up. But he rises to the leaderboard occasion in these types of events. You get him in a full field event with all the big guns, and he's going to be a top 40 guy. But he's going to pay off at 90-1. Even if you just want to take some shots at that 20, the top 20 bet, that's where I'm looking at Brendon Todd. But 90-1 to win outright. I've done crazier stuff with $10. So it's for me, the Todd father. I have a couple deep shots, but I did want to mention Webb Simpson, the Wyndham Clark man at the Wyyndham. He owns Sedgefield basically, with all of his top 10 finishes here. why not throw a top 10 finish? He was absolutely in garbage form last year, shows up and finishes top 5. So no, he's not going to win it this year, but throw a top 10 or top 20 bet on him. If he's 101 outright, you're going to get 5 to 10 to 1 for him to pay off a placement bet. Why not? That's not dumb. That's smart betting. This guy plays well here, and we've seen it over the years where guys who are horses for courses, it doesn't matter how old they get, they keep showing up to that course every year, and they keep playing that course well. It just fits their eye. That's smart golf betting. Go ahead. I'm going to stamp that one with approval. My 2 deep shots, Bud Cauley at 250 to 1. Just a really good, solid golfer. He hasn't been great on the short game, but ball striking wise, he can put himself in enough scoring opportunities to do really well here. And Greyson Sigg, 350 to 1. Greyson Sigg is an approach assassin. And the only thing that I'm worried about is how many birdies can he make? Because he's really good when it comes down to sticking it close. It's punching it in that worries me. But Greyson Sigg, number 1 in the approach bucket from 125 to 150 yards. That'll come in about 25% of the holes, and just a pure ball striker. Does he make a lot of birdies? No. But he avoids 3 putts. He cards good scores. He makes cuts. I think Greyson Sigg at 350 to 1. If you would just want to do a top 30, top 40, even a top 20 bet on Greyson Sigg, it'll pay off. Throw a couple bucks on 350 to 1. Greyson Sigg is streaky. And if you get him on a short course that demands proximity on approach, he's your guy.
Now, it's not often you see a defending tournament champ at 100 to 1. That's where Lucas Glover sits, but I got to admit, I'm not really interested in Mr. Glover, even at those long odds. Mackenzie Hughes, 80 to 1, good putter, good Bermuda putting metrics. I'm sort of interested. And Hayden Buckley at 250 to 1. A guy you have touted in the past, Bo. Yeah. What's your reservation?
The reservation is he's playing terribly this year. But yeah, the stat that I was pulling for last year was that if you took away second round, like Friday rounds, I don't know what he does on Thursday nights, but if you just took away his second round scoring average, his first, third, and fourth round scoring averages would have been best on tour last year. That's how bad he was on Fridays.
The caddy is making plane reservations on Friday afternoon. Okay, got it.
No, he shouldn't have been, because he was shooting an average of 68 on Thursdays, and then it was 74 on Fridays, so he missed a lot of cuts. But then when he made cuts, he had the lowest Sunday scoring average on tour last year.
Yeah. I mean, not having a good season for sure. Is accurate off the tee, and he does seem to play easy courses well historically. Okay, Bo, who's on your betting card as of now?
Siwoo Kim, 22 to 1. I got Cam Davis, the Aussie, 40 to 1. Eric Cole, 60 to 1. Victor Perez, Alphonse, 75 to 1. Brendon, the Todd father, Todd at 90 to 1. Bud Cauley, 250 to 1. And Greyson Sigg, 350 to 1. I'm going aggressive on Siwoo, and then the rest of them I'm going to be doing minimal bets with placement bets on the lower guys.
I might be adding to this card. I'm making a chalky bet on Sungjae Im at plus 1,400. I don't mind the price there. Aaron Rai, I've got a little something on him at plus 4,000. I'm betting Hojgaard. I'm back on the Hojgaard train at plus 5,000. And thanks for the spoiler earlier, Bo. I've got a Webb Simpson top 10 bet at plus 600. 6 to 1.
Smart.
Had to do it. On to the one and done competition. We were off last week for the Olympics. Bo leads by about 3.7 million, but that's a pittance with all these $20 million tournaments coming up, Bo. But this is not one of those. So I don't know how much ground I'm going to make up here. I do pick first, and I am going to take Sungjae Im. How about you, Bo?
All right. So I've burned all the good golfers, including Sungjae Im, so I wouldn't be able to pick him anyway.
Are you going to light up a Greyson Sigg?
I would love to, but once you light up a Greyson Sigg, it's extremely difficult to quit, from what I hear. I think I'm gonna just stick with my guy here. I'm just making sure I haven't used him yet. Siwoo Kim, I have not used yet, so I will go with my guy Siwoo Kim from South Korea.
All right.
So it's a Korea off.
Korean battle, two of the favorites going head-to-head in our one and done. And that's all for this week's show. Thank you to our sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. Sign up for Underdog with the promo code BP Golf to claim your special pick and to get a first-time deposit offer of up to $250 in bonus cash. And please come join Bo and I again next week when we'll be previewing the first leg of the FedEx Cup playoffs, the FedEx St. Jude Championship. Until then, so long, everyone.